Hi, this is Angelina Asante.
And Pickles.
Welcome to this episode of the unofficial Red Sox Fantasy Campers podcast. Today we have a special guest that I'm really excited about, Donna Cohen.
Hi.
Hi, Donna. So I was a rookie last year, and the name I kept hearing everywhere was Donna, and everyone would point to you. And I said, who is this lady that everybody's giving credit to about because I didn't know anything at all. The only thing I knew was the Red Sox kept sending emails saying, do this women's fantasy camp. But I hear you are instrumental in making all of this happen.
I don't know if I was instrumental. I think I get credit for stuff that I don't know that I was as instrumental in. But I did get the privilege of being on the team that created this.
Oh,
Red
wow.
Sox, and I did get the privilege of adding my 3, 4, and 5 cents worth of how a women's camp could be run, considering the fact that I don't play, just from a perspective of what women may be interested in and how we make it women-centric for the sports world to see. So that was pretty cool.
Had it been discussed for years before it ever came to fruition?
I don't believe it had actually ever been discussed.
I mean, once it started being discussed, did it take a long time for the camp to become established?
No.
It was pretty quick?
I know, right?
Wow.
So wait, was the men's camp already running?
The men's camp has been running for, I don't know, 20 some odd years.
What?
Yeah.
The big camp.
Oh,
It's
wow.
now the third week. The second camp for the men was new after us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how did that happen? Because I heard, and I don't know if it's true, another MLB team, which I'm forbidden to ever say that name. I heard that they had a women's camp. Is there any truth to that? And then you said, hey, Red Sox, we need to get a women's camp going here.
I don't know if that's exactly how it came down, but the Yankees had a women's camp that they created because they wouldn't allow women into the men's camp.
Ooh.
And so they created one, as I'm told, they created one for women. So, kind of like Little League, when they got sued and lost, they created softball.
Oh, wow.
No offense to the Yankees. I love the Yankees, but... and then we happen to be... I have a client, Dick Flavin, he's now passed. He's a really sweet guy. I would travel with him down to spring training. And when he was doing his thing for Red Sox Destinations, I happened to be in a conversation with Dr. Charles Steinberg, who was the executive vice president of the Red Sox at the time and a genius on marketing. And we started talking about, what about having a women's camp? And Tom Kennedy, who's in charge of the Destinations program at the time, got called over and we said, what about a women's camp? And Charles really said, let's do it.
Do you think that the hesitation was they didn't think there would be enough interest in it?
I don't know I can't speak for the people at the Red Sox, but I can say that Dr. Charles was pretty convinced that this would be a success, that it was important for the Red Sox to be involved in something like this. And he thought he had the right people in the room. And as it turned out, he obviously had the right people, at least from the Red Sox side.
How did they promote it? How did they get the word out so that you would find players?
I think they just posted it on their website and everybody shared it.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm. As one of the camps that was being offered. I'd have to go back and look at exactly how they promoted it, but we got to our 4 teams, which was our requirement, and we sold out.
Oh, that's great.
So we had bragging rights that we sold out.
And now, how did you get the original women in baseball involved with this?
You mean
Maybelle
and Shirley?
Mary, and yeah.
When we had our first burgers meeting, one of the suggestions that I had made was to keep the generations involved, and they were technically first and most well-known. So 2 AAGPBL players, 2 women coaches, and a crew chief for the umpires that was a woman, with the goal of having an all-women crew. So I picked up the phone and called Maybelle and Shirley, and they said yes.
Did you know them already?
Yes.
I did. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem like they sincerely have a lot of fun, and they get a lot of pleasure out of knowing that this generation, and then like women, young women, we have a younger crowd here, and then like somebody like Jackie and then Oz and all these young women who are bringing it to the next generation.
That's their goal.
Yeah, they seem well. I like this camp because it normalizes women playing baseball, and we've been going to the local batting cage here for a couple years, and I started showing up after this camp myself. I was showing up by myself and not going with the other people I was going with. So they would always say, okay, you want softballs? And I'd say, now when I walk up, they say your baseballs are ready, because now they know.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank
it's
you.
an education.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we've kind of, and Pickles and I have been in there hitting where the guys in the cages next to us are hitting softballs, and we're hitting baseballs better than they're hitting softballs. And we've had a lot of weird looks and comments when we're in the batting cages.
Yeah. Who are you and what are you doing here?
It is interesting because outside of our world that we all, each of you, everybody has created for women in baseball, people make a presumption that men play baseball and women play softball.
Right.
And they assume, the first time Joe Castiglione met Marty Cementelli, who's a very well-known pitcher for the Team USA, lives in Massachusetts, he assumed she was playing softball.
Really?
And the president of the Angels, go figure, we went down to a meeting with him about women in baseball, and he thought we were talking about softball.
Really? Wow.
So people have,
Yeah.
it's up to us to teach them that men play softball around the world and women play baseball around the world.
Right.
And we are the ones, our generation and forward will normalize that. So that's our job. And that's, between Mary, who's now a member of our camp, and Shirley Berkovich, may she rest in peace, and Maybelle Blair, they are very, very out there about making sure women have this opportunity and men get educated that we want the opportunity, we take it seriously, we'll work hard for it, and we'll promote it.
Well, we're big fans of Shohei Ohtani, and Yoshida, we got a ball signed by him last year. We were so excited.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I love seeing the uprising of women in Japan too, in baseball. That's really, really exciting to see what's going on there. But like you said, I watched Jackie in her league about a month ago in Sarasota, and there's women from all over the world playing baseball, and they are so good.
Oh, superstars.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
All Jackie's caliber too.
If you look at the World Baseball Softball Confederation, I serve on their diversity and inclusivity, I guess they call it commissioner. Women are playing baseball all over the world. Maggie Meidlinger, who's Team USA, but also was a coach at our camp once, has a program she helps with in Uganda every year. And
Wow.
4 or 5 gals from Team USA go with her. Everybody sends support, and it's in the most unexpected places. And yet it's also in Japan, it's in Korea, South Korea.
We have a woman from
Australia.
Australia right here in the room.
Cheers for Australia,
Yeah.
Canada,
Yeah.
Cuba,
Yeah.
Oh, Puerto Rico.
Puerto
We
Rico.
had this week. We had
Yeah,
somebody on the
yeah.
winning team.
Yeah.
We had the United States hosted the Women's Baseball World Cup in 2018 down in Florida. And the largest number of fans came from outside of the United States.
What city was that in?
It was in Vero Beach.
Vero Beach area? Wow.
But I will have to get the exact location, because if I screwed up the location,
No,
I would
yeah.
feel bad for
Yeah.
everybody who works
I
so
hope we do
hard.
that again because we.
Oh, we would do a road
yeah,
trip for
yeah.
sure.
Well, they'll be in Canada in August for the World Cup.
Oh, the World Cup.
Wow.
When this camp started, did you have a hard time getting coaches, or did you go to the big camp to ask those coaches if they wanted to come to a women's camp as well?
We had a conversation about the coaches that were already committed to fantasy camp for the Red Sox, and went through the list of those that might be inclined, those that might be a good fit. We didn't know yet the personality of the camp, but
Right.
the Red Sox knew the personalities of their alumni, and
Right.
so I thought for the most part we got a pretty good group together for that first year. But the Red Sox know their coaches who
Right.
come to the fantasy camps pretty well, so that was kind of a
Right. Well, I will say, like last year as a rookie, everyone is so respectful of the women, and they're sincere about coaching and teaching, and I really appreciated that because honestly, you know, I was coming into it thinking, you know, I hope the guys aren't condescending, but they're not. They really want to make you a good ball player, and I really appreciated that.
not for nothing, but they love coaching our camp.
I
too, yeah.
didn't want to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah.
Honestly, every single coach has told me the women are more fun.
Yeah.
More fun, smarter.
They
more
take
to
it more
learn,
seriously.
Don't know everything,
And we don't mind being
And
corrected.
we don't get injured
Yeah, I
so
was
Right.
gonna
fast.
say,
That's
the
true.
injury, yeah.
That's right.
The men's camp has the
That's true. That's
going around
true.
the corner with
The
training
men are
rooms.
trying to get drafted.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's good to know.
It's a fun group of ladies.
Are you surprised that it's expanded now to 6 teams? Because when I started 3 years ago, it had been 4 teams, I guess, since the beginning. And then last year there was 5, and now it's 6. Are you surprised it's growing, or do you see it even growing bigger?
I am not surprised, but having it at 4, it did form a family.
Yeah.
And so it expanded from there, just new members of the sisterhood, as it's called, coming into play, veterans maybe not coming back another year, camper veterans. A lot of people wanted to keep it at 4, but people were, last year and the year before, people were trying to sign up for the next year because they didn't want to get shut out.
Wow.
So they expanded it to 5 camps.
Mm-hmm.
And this year they were lucky enough to get a waiting list for 6 teams.
Wow.
Five teams, not 5 camps. Someday we'll have 5
Yeah.
camps.
Wow. That is phenomenal.
So yeah,
You
it's
must
been.
be so proud to be instrumental with getting this.
Like I said, I'm not instrumental. I'm very quiet in the background, but
Well, everybody
I do
knows.
stick my nose in, even when it's not asked.
When we were trying to figure out everything about how did it start, besides figuring, somebody looked at the Red Sox website. Like Angelina was saying earlier, everyone said you got to talk to Donna.
Mm-hmm.
So even though you don't think you were instrumental, everybody
Well.
thinks you are, or knows you are. I should
Okay,
say.
we might want to dissuade them from that. That's a lot of pressure. Not actually true.
You
We
mentioned
had-
to me once about Perry. So was she the first umpire? You said she has a lot of knowledge about the camp as well.
Yes.
Did she come in from the beginning?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she brought in 4. Well, let's see. At the time, I think it was 4 women to umpire. That was kind of a challenge to be able to convince them that we were going to be using our own
Yeah.
umpires.
Wow.
I mean, it wasn't like we walked in and said, this is what we want, because we had no idea what it would look like. But that's kind of important if you're going to create a women's program.
Right.
Yeah, you include as many women as you can in all aspects of the sport to show, at least my philosophy, to show that it's not just the people that play. It's
That was a
coaching,
huge,
reporting. We got great press.
from the beginning, or
Yeah, when the
When
camp
it
started, we
started.
got great press from Florida, from the Globe, from the Red Sox.
yeah, I was fortunate enough to read the article on the Globe just this week, and
Mm-hmm.
it was great.
Wasn't it
I mean,
great?
Oh my God!
Fabulous
And the
photos.
picture they had, yeah. I mean, the lady sliding in, whether she was tagged out or she made it, I don't remember. But that picture alone, your eyes were drawn to it, and to think it was women doing it, I'm sure the people that read the Globe were probably really like, "What is this all about?" So I like that.
One of the things that I think about more than once during the year, like more than camp, is, the movie A League of Their Own is so beloved by so many people that when we were growing up, and I've known Christine almost all my life, MVP over here, when we were growing up, we just played softball because that's what we were told to do. And she played all the way through college. And I was speaking to Jackie yesterday, and who's the men's camp, men's college baseball coach at UMass. And I said to her, I wonder why I didn't even think about fighting for baseball. It was so ingrained in me that women don't play baseball that I didn't even question it. And so I'm glad that the next generation is saying, we're playing baseball. So I'm really grateful for that, and I'm grateful for everyone involved in making this camp to normalize women playing baseball again.
Right?
Because it shouldn't be a heyday, you know, when you go to Cooperstown, well, there's where the women were in their little section. You know, I'd love to go see a whole new wing opened up of current baseball players.
That would be terrific.
That would be amazing.
Can you talk about what you mentioned last night's happening at Cooperstown with the women, with the Red Sox, that they are going to be putting something in there as far as, the book that these two ladies wrote?
Right?
That's amazing.
I know.
What was the other that they're putting in, that they're starting off with?
So, first of all, I just want to make one correction. It's not Cooperstown.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Every team has their own history and archives of their organization, and they have a curator who goes through items that are worthy of being kept and preserved for historical purposes. And then Sarah Coffin is a woman who is curating that now, the archives for the Boston Red Sox.
Absolutely.
And I had been talking to her about, what can we do? What can we do? And I knew I had the bat, which I'll get to in a minute. So I called her yesterday, and I'm just looking, that's my son, and said, all right, we have our banquet tonight, and we have this awesome new piece of something that we can preserve. So can I announce we're going to be part of the archives?
Oh, that's great.
And she said sure. And I told her the two pieces that I was proposing that go in there. And she said okay. And I said, send me a text message of what I can say.
Oh, yeah.
Which now I know you have a copy of, because you asked me for it last night. I didn't send her a text message, but I wrote out the quote so I wouldn't get it wrong.
So
And I
did
was
these two
announcing
ladies
it.
even know that was happening?
No, nobody knew.
Nobody knew?
Why would you ladies think?
Wow.
Nobody knew.
I can't
don't know,
believe
I
it.
thought about telling you ahead of time, but I had promised I was going to make it happen when we sat there and you showed me the book.
Wow. So for
Not
the
knowing whether I could or not, but never stopped me before. So
For those of you who don't know what's happening right now, Michelle Burnham and Chrissy Massey are sitting in the interview room, and they both put a book together about what this fantasy camp and women playing baseball means to them. And last year they read it. I guess Michelle told me that she had just written it last year, and I thought it was an annual thing. And hearing those words as a rookie, I was very, very moved. And I went up to Michelle and said, thank you for writing something so beautiful that I really, really identified with. And then this year when we came in, we found out that that's going into the Red Sox Hall of Fame, right? And that's going to be curated in their... Is that where
it's going into their archives?
their archives? So is
this
that...
is like their own little... There's this... Well, it's not small. They have a big history.
Is that where all Big Poppy's stuff is? And you see the pennants and the rings and all? Is that the room?
So that's the area that they choose items to be displayed.
Okay.
Similar to the Cooperstown Hall of Fame, they select items that they would like to keep and preserve. And then over time, they choose things to display or bring out at different events, which we are hoping that they will bring out these two items at the appropriate times and when it's appropriate. And when the book was created and we had our illustrator, so we had I know you're like you're biting your lip. I can tell you're trying to, but this was like the coup de grace.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Between the bat and this book, I don't know what in between could have been any better than these two. So I was like, yes!
Yeah, that really is
Who will get
amazing.
to see this stuff? Is it available to the public to see these archived items?
I guess I'm going to have to learn a little more about this since I sort of put my feet ahead of my...
Michelle, can I tell the story? Because you look like you maybe don't want to share it right now. Michelle came up to the breakfast table today when Christine and I were sitting there, and we were so excited. We were asking her what happened when she heard that news, and she said, I went out to the hallway, and I called my mom, and my mom was like, oh, that's nice. I don't really know what that means. And she's like, Mom, when I'm gone, it's going to be there. She said, so there's something that's going to be there that's going to live on forever. And oh my God, I can't look at Michelle right now. So I'm so.
And thank you so much to Christy Massey for putting together and using
the
those
pictures.
Everything went so well together. It was just a beautifully choreographed book, with a little bit of both of you that now live on in history. And I'm honored to really not only call you guys, friends, but teammates, and I'm honored to know you.
And we feel those words.
Yes.
We feel those words because I said to Christine, I said, look at the amount of work that went into this, and every one of those pictures was hand selected for that book. I can't look at you. Don't look at me right now. Oh my God.
And the books were all put into every camper's locker. So unbeknownst to us, you come in every day and there could be a new item. And this was a book that they made sure each one of us got. So it wasn't just something that we would hear be mentioned at the morning meeting. Now we all have it to take home, which is great.
Yeah.
And it's such an amazing poem because every time that I've posted it, on the forum and stuff, just as a kind of a reminder, everybody says, over and over again how much it means when they read it and how much it feels. So it's not just us. Anybody who reads it feels it, and it's amazing.
Women
And
in
I'd be
baseball.
happy to read it every camp.
Every year.
Chrissy's going to have to read it.
Opening meeting every year.
And no one look at her when
It's
she's
funny
doing
that
it.
People ask me how I get through it without the tears. That's because I go to the very back field by field, past field 1 and 2 on the complex, walk in a circle, reading it multiple times, getting my tears out before I go to the meeting and read it in front of everybody. I can't read.
I'm not a ball player, and I cry when I read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel it.
Yeah.
You feel it.
You feel it for everyone who never got a chance to play.
Yeah.
And you feel it for everybody who does. And then you feel it for all the girls coming ahead.
Right.
Yep. It's beautifully
Who
said.
will get to read that and know, wow, someone before me felt the same way I
Right.
feel.
Sometimes the best therapy is to put something in books.
Yes.
Yep, that's true. That's true.
Donna, you mentioned the bat as well, but you didn't tell us about it.
So the very first year, when the souvenirs and items and gifts were being delivered to the lockers, one of the things that we had agreed is whatever the men's camp gets, we wanted to be on par. So that, they're here for a whole week. We were going to be here for a long weekend, but the bat was something that every year you get the bat. You get the bats in your locker. It has your name on it. It has Red Sox Women's Fantasy Camp, the year. They were red for our first year. They were amazing. They were gorgeous. And I took the bat and ran. When we do the autographs,
Yeah.
ran around with the bat.
Yeah.
We need to save this moment. And everyone who was there, to my knowledge, every camper, every umpire, every
Oh,
coach,
wow.
and every member of the staff who participated
Oh, that's
that
awesome.
one year signed that bat. And then when everybody was shipping their bats home, I shipped that to my house, knowing someday.
Wow. And that's in the archives.
So
That's
that's
going
the
in.
other piece that
Wow.
will go into the archives. And they haven't made that red bat since.
Wow.
So it's really even more unique for any veteran who was an inaugural member of our camp. And as Tom Kennedy said, and I love to share, the Yankees may have been first. We protected it.
Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you for being an advocate for women in baseball. It's been really an amazing experience being with all of you ladies.
Well, I'm glad that you will keep it going.
Yeah, thank you.
'Cause we aren't here except for you.
All right, Pickles, you have an important question to ask.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and I'm really curious as to your answer. I'd like to know what's your favorite baseball movie.
Well, besides A League of Their Own, since I know I've had the privilege of meeting most of those women or learning about them and working with the Penny Marshall estate and her daughter, One of my favorite ones is Trouble with the Curve.
Nobody said that yet.
Nobody said that. I don't even know what that movie is.
Is that Kevin Costner?
No.
No, I don't even know. I'm not sure I even know that movie.
Clint Eastwood. Yeah, Clint Eastwood's in it.
And Amy Adams, right?
Probably.
Oh, I need to look at that one.
It's like a scout, the scouting side of it.
Oh,
Interesting.
okay. I'll have to check that out.
But it's a very, very important movie on not only coming of age, young players making presumptions about themselves and all the money they're going to make, and how everybody else needs to get out of their way so they can make their, name for themselves. It is about scouting the old-fashioned way versus on the computer. But it also is about a woman who was the daughter of a scout who traveled everywhere with him because he was her primary caretaker, to every single high school, college game, and was a lawyer, and at the end of the day became an agent.
Oh, wow.
And she was the one that fought for the guy who, Jackie, you know the story just as well. Jackie Reynolds is sitting here. She was nodding her head when I said the name of the movie. It's one of my son and my favorite movies because she found a guy who just happened to be out in the backyard throwing, and she heard the sound that a scout hears
Wow.
without needing to see it or without a computer, and she knew it would be a good match for the team. And fought to get him onto the field to throw so that the real scouts could see him. And this kid who had a big head and thought he was going to get, all the girls and all the money, she brought him in to pitch him. And his famous line was, "Peanut boy? You want me to hit peanut boy? This going to be ugly." And he could not hit the curve.
Oh, okay. So the title,
Yeah.
because that's what they say with some of those guys. They have trouble with the curve, right?
That was, no one else picked it up.
Movie. We're gonna have to do baseball movie night at my house, Pickles.
I'm coming.
Because we've got movies we've been hearing about, and I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah.
That's one I definitely need to watch.
What
That.
I missed? Is there something else in the movie I might have missed?
So, the Red Sox are technically in it because the Red Sox scout is the guy that.
Justin Timberlake played the Red
Oh.
Sox scout.
And
Oh,
then-
wow.
Yeah, and then the guy who plays Scooby Doo, he plays Shaggy in the life version, not the cartoon one. He's also in it too.
Okay, I need to check this
It says
movie
it's
out.
from 2012.
It's-
Oh, okay.
It's I would say it's on the slower side because it's more thought process and a more thinking movie because they go into details about what it's like to be a scout and stuff, and the scouting side of baseball isn't all glamorous. It's more you have to travel a lot. You have to go to these baseball games and watch carefully, write your reports, and it kind of hits on that stuff. So there's not as much baseball is, but it's more behind the scenes stuff. So it's a movie that you get to see a little bit more behind the scenes than what happens on the field.
And the
Okay, cool.
camaraderie
Yeah.
among all the scouts who are grinding it out every day looking for the right players, the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, you really get to see how hard it is to be a scout.
Mhm. And work within an organization to get your players in, and to know that not every player has the same story. So someone might be, you have to look at a player holistically. What is it that they need, which might be different than someone else? Just because someone gets up to the plate with a bat or gets up in the field with a glove, they don't all come to that glove or that bat the same way. So you need to know what they need to make them the best they can be for your team.
Well, I just want to thank you for everything you've done and making this dream reality. And thank you to all you ladies in here for making this experience for us so amazing and something that we've started looking forward to every year, spending time with our baseball friends.
And promoting it every chance we get.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you, ladies.
Can
Well,
I add a plug?
Sure.
Is it okay?
Yes.
You can cut it out if you don't think it's
No, that's
appropriate,
fine.
so Little League that wouldn't permit girls to play for the longest time. Maria Pepe, who you may, if you look her up, she was the 9-year-old who got thrown out of Little League, and the National Organization of Women fought for her not to play because by the time the decision came down, she had aged out. But the fact that girls were entitled to be able to play Little League, they couldn't be left out. Little League had then created softball in order to continue to keep girls out. This year, for the very first time, working with Justine Siegel at Baseball for All and Maria Pepe, and I'm really proud because I represent Maria, and I also work with Baseball for All, are having their very first girls' baseball tournament.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
In Williamsport.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing.
That's awesome.
So
So go.
So is this the same girl who aged out is now fighting in part of this?
She's not fighting, but she's being honored. It's called the Maria Pepe Tournament.
Oh,
She will be
wow.
there.
That's awesome.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I
That's
just
great.
got chills. That's amazing.
Dates. Thank you, Jackie. Dates.
So is this Massachusetts? I didn't recognize the name of the
No,
town.
Williamsport is Little League's. They've got like 20 fields.
Oh, wow. Okay.
MLB will play there for the World Series weekend. Teams from all over the world
Oh, wow.
compete to be able to be in Little League World Series, which is held in Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
And
It's the tournament where all the states, they all get represented. So
Oh, wow.
when you're in Little League, if you get onto the All-Star team, then you start facing other towns, and then it gets bigger to where you're facing the winner of Massachusetts versus New Hampshire.
Oh, wow.
And then it gets regional, and then basically you keep on going, and then there is the other side of the bracket, which is the world side, where it could be like Japan, Canada, Chinese Taipei, I think was in it last year, Australia, like all these.
come from all over the world.
Yeah, and
Wow.
and it's televised, and all the games
Oh,
are.
well, that's good.
Is
are
that
there.
ESPN?
And if you
Yeah.
think our coaches love coaching us, the ESPN reporters, this is their favorite time of year
Oh, wow.
because they do every game. And, okay, thank you, Jackie. It's the weekend of June 8th,
Oh.
7th, 8th, and 9th.
Okay, well, we'll be doing the news about that then. We'll be posting
So,
information
I hope
about that. I'm
you'll-
glad you all told us about that.
We should all be there to cheer them on and make sure they know that there are women here who are
That's awesome.
fighting for the right to play for all the younger players.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Donna.
Okay, now I'm going to stop talking.
No, this is really good. No, we follow, we try to follow baseball news, so that's something I honestly
Yeah.
didn't even know about. So that's good information. So, well, this is Double A.
And Pickles.
We're signing off. Thank you so much,
you.
Donna.
Oh,
And
yeah.
thank you all ladies. This has been really, really just one of the best weeks of my life. I love you guys so much.
Yeah, and just doing the interviews is so fulfilling to hear these stories.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. We don't hear this anywhere.
We're getting it out there.
Yep, getting it out there. All right, this is Double A and Pickle signing off for the unofficial Red Sox Fantasy Campers podcast.